penthouse security footage doesn't lie. Marcus watches it for the 7th time, his jaw tight as the timestamp glows in the corner. 11:47 p.m., 6 nights ago. There she is, his girlfriend for a week, the woman who slept in his bed and laughed at his jokes and kissed him like she meant it, slipping a USB drive into his laptop while he showered. The file she copied? His father's suicide note. The acquisition plans. Everything that could destroy him. His head of security freezes the frame on her face. Her real name is Sofia Castellano, daughter of. I know whose daughter she is. Marcus's voice comes out flat, dead. He'd know that name anywhere. Castellano. The man who drove his father to jump from this very building 15 years ago. She's booked on a flight to Buenos Aires in 4 hours, his security chief says. Want me to call the authorities? Marcus stares at the screen. At the woman who left him a note about dreams. Who staged an entire romance as an act of corporate espionage. Who kissed him on the balcony with tears in her eyes, and whispered, I wish this could be real. He should call the FBI. Report the theft. Let her father's legacy crumble the way his own father's did. Instead, he reaches for his coat. Cancel the flight, he says. I'll handle this myself. If you're already hooked, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a twist. And drop a comment. Do you think Marcus should choose revenge or love? Let's find out what happens next. 7 days earlier. Sofia Castellano stared at the hotel key card in her hand, then at the penthouse elevator that required it for access. The concierge had handed it to her with a smile. Enjoy your stay, Miss Castellano. But something felt wrong. She'd booked a standard room. Not a penthouse. But exhaustion from the 14-hour flight from Madrid made thinking difficult. Her father's instructions echoed in her mind. Get close to Marcus Chen. Find out what he's planning. Our family's survival depends on it. The elevator doors opened directly into the suite, and Sofia's breath caught. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Manhattan. Modern furniture that probably cost more than her car. A kitchen larger than her apartment. She should go back downstairs. Correct the mistake. Instead, she dragged her suitcase inside. Just for tonight. She'd fix it in the morning. The bedroom was a sanctuary of gray silk and soft lighting. Sofia collapsed onto the bed without even removing her shoes, consciousness fading before her head hit the pillow. She never heard the penthouse elevator chime at 2 a.m. Marcus Chen loosened his tie as he stepped into his penthouse, phone still pressed to his ear. The Tokyo deal had taken 8 hours of negotiations, and his head pounded. The contract's by Friday, he said, navigating through the dark apartment by memory. He didn't bother with lights. No, I don't care what their lawyers say. Friday or we walk. He ended the call in his bedroom doorway, already unbuttoning his shirt. The bed looked like heaven. He stripped down to his boxer briefs, slid under the covers, and let his eyes close. Warm. The thought registered dimly. His bed felt warm like someone had. Marcus's eyes snapped open. In the gray pre-dawn light filtering through the curtains, he could make out a shape beside him. Dark hair spread across his pillow. Soft breathing. A woman curled on her side, still wearing jeans and a sweater. In his bed. Fast asleep. For a long moment, Marcus didn't move. He should be calling security. Demanding answers. But something about the peaceful expression on her face, the complete trust with which she slept in a stranger's bed, kept him frozen. She looked exhausted. Vulnerable. Real. Marcus sat up carefully, reached for his phone, and texted his head of security. Check the hotel logs. Who's in my penthouse? The response came quickly. Miss Sofia Castellano. Front desk error. Gave her your key card instead of her room on the 12th floor. Want me to move her? Marcus looked at the sleeping woman. Sofia. She hadn't woken when he got into bed. Hadn't stirred when he sat up. She was truly, deeply exhausted. No, he typed back. Let her sleep. I'll handle it. He slipped out of bed, grabbed clothes from his closet, and went to shower in the guest bathroom. When he returned 20 minutes later, she was sitting up in bed, eyes wide with horror. I can explain, she said immediately, her accent British with Spanish undertones. The hotel made a mistake. I didn't realize this wasn't my room. I was so tired I just, oh God, did I sleep in your bed? With you in it. Marcus leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, fighting a smile. Technically, I got into bed with you. Her cheeks flushed crimson. I'm so sorry. I'll leave right now. Please don't call security. Why would I call security? Marcus moved into the room, watching her scramble to the edge of the bed. You were given a key. You didn't break in. But she stopped, seeming to notice him properly for the first time. Her eyes widened slightly. You're Marcus Chen. I am. The Marcus Chen. Chen Technologies. Guilty. He studied her face, looking for recognition, for calculation. He found only surprise and lingering embarrassment. And you're Sofia Castellano apparently. How did you? She stopped. You checked with the hotel. I did. Marcus made a decision that defied logic and everything his cautious nature demanded. Tell me, Sofia. What brings you to New York? Vacation, she said too quickly. Just a week to see the city. Alone. I like traveling alone. Marcus nodded slowly. An idea formed, reckless and probably stupid, but something about this woman who slept so peacefully in a stranger's bed intrigued him. I have a proposition, he said. Stay in the penthouse. For the week of your vacation. Sofia blinked. I'm sorry, what? The hotel made the mistake. Consider it an upgrade. He moved closer, watching her reaction. There's a guest room. You'd have complete privacy. In exchange, I'd ask one thing. Which is, accompany me to business dinners this week. As my girlfriend. The silence stretched between them. Sofia stared at him like he'd suggested they rob a bank. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? I have 5 dinners scheduled this week. Important clients, potential investors. And they all want to set me up with their daughters, their nieces, their assistants. Marcus smiled ruefully. Having a girlfriend would solve that problem. You could just tell them you're not interested. I've tried. They don't listen. But a beautiful woman on my arm? He shrugged. That, they'd understand. Sofia's eyes narrowed. You think I'm beautiful? I think you sleep very peacefully for someone in a stranger's bed. That takes either extreme trust or extreme exhaustion. Marcus held her gaze. 1 week. Separate bedrooms. Shared dinners. Then you go back to your life, and I go back to mine. He could see her thinking, calculating. What he didn't know was that Sofia's mind was racing for entirely different reasons. This was it. The opportunity her father had sent her to find. A week in Marcus Chen's home. Access to his private life, his business dealings. Everything she needed to discover what threat he posed to Castellano Industries. She should be thrilled. Instead, guilt twisted her stomach. Why me? She asked quietly. You don't know anything about me. Marcus smiled, and something in Sofia's chest tightened. Maybe that's exactly why. No expectations. No history. Just 2 strangers helping each other out for a week. If only he knew, Sofia thought. Okay, she heard herself say. 1 week. The first dinner was that evening at 11 Madison Park. Sofia stood in front of the guest room mirror, smoothing down the black dress Marcus's assistant had delivered that afternoon. It fit perfectly. Of course it did. Ready. Marcus appeared in her doorway, devastating in a charcoal suit. Sofia's breath caught. This was going to be harder than she thought. In the car, Marcus briefed her. Richard and Patricia Morrison. Tech investors. Married 40 years. They'll ask how we met. What should I say? The truth. Marcus smiled slightly. Hotel mix-up. I found you in my bed. They'll love it. That makes me sound like a stalker. Or like fate. His eyes met hers, and Sofia felt heat rise in her cheeks. The dinner went smoothly. Too smoothly. The Morrisons were charming, and Marcus was perfect. Attentive without being possessive. He touched her lower back when guiding her to the table. Poured her wine. Laughed at her jokes. And Sofia found herself forgetting it was fake. How did you 2 meet? Patricia Morrison asked, exactly as Marcus had predicted. Marcus took Sofia's hand, his thumb brushing across her knuckles. She broke into my penthouse and fell asleep in my bed. The Morrisons laughed, thinking it was a joke. Sofia explained about the hotel mix-up, and Patricia clutched her chest. That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard, she declared. Like a modern fairy tale. If only she knew the truth. Sophia was no Cinderella. She was the villain's daughter, sitting at the prince's table, stealing his secrets. That night, back in the penthouse, Marcus poured them both whiskey. You were good tonight, he said, handing her a glass. So were you. Sophia took a sip, welcoming the burn. Almost too good. Do you practice pretending to care? Marcus's expression darkened. Is that what you think I was doing? Pretending. Isn't that what this is? A performance. Maybe it started that way. He set down his glass. But when I held your hand tonight, I wasn't thinking about the Morrisons. Sophia's heart hammered. Marcus. Tell me I'm wrong, he said quietly. Tell me you felt nothing. She should lie. Should remember why she was really here. Instead she whispered, I can't. They stood there, 2 feet apart, the city glittering behind them through the windows. Marcus moved first, closing the distance, his hand cupping her cheek. This is a bad idea, Sophia breathed. The worst. He smiled. But then again, you sleeping in my bed was probably a bad idea too. The kiss didn't happen that night. Marcus stepped back, his hand falling away. Get some sleep, Sophia. We have 4 more dinners to survive. She went to her room with her heart racing and guilt eating her alive. The days blurred together in a haze of stolen glances and careful boundaries. Day 2, dinner with Japanese investors. Sophia laughed genuinely at Marcus's story about his first business failure, and he looked at her like she'd given him something precious. Day 3, a charity gala. Marcus's hand on her waist as they danced felt too natural, too right. When a society columnist asked how serious they were, Marcus said, very, without hesitation. Day 4, lunch with his mentor, an elderly man who'd known Marcus's father. Your father would have liked her, he told Marcus, and Sophia saw pain flicker across Marcus's face. That night, she asked about it. They were in the penthouse living room, sharing takeout Chinese food, their 5th night together. Marcus had loosened his tie, and Sophia had changed into comfortable clothes. It felt domestic. Dangerous. What happened to your father? She asked carefully. Marcus's chopsticks stilled. Why do you want to know? Because every time someone mentions him, you look like you're carrying the weight of the world. He was quiet for so long Sophia thought he wouldn't answer. Then, he killed himself. 15 years ago. Jumped from this building. Sophia's stomach dropped. She knew this. Her father had told her. But hearing it from Marcus, seeing the raw pain in his eyes, made it real in a way research never could. Marcus, I'm so sorry. A business rival destroyed him. Destroyed his company, his reputation, his will to live. Marcus's voice was flat, emotionless. I was 13. I found the note. Sophia felt tears burn her eyes. The business rival was her father, Ricardo Castellano, the man who'd sent her here to spy on his enemy's son. I built Chen Technologies from nothing, Marcus continued. Every success, every deal, every dollar, it's all to prove he didn't die for nothing. That the Chen name means something. I'm sure he'd be proud of you, Sophia whispered. I hope so. Marcus looked at her, and Sophia saw vulnerability she'd never expected. Sometimes I wonder if I'm chasing his ghost instead of my own life. She should tell him the truth. Should confess everything. Instead, she reached for his hand. You're not a ghost, she said. You're the most alive person I've ever met. The kiss happened then. Slow and sweet and devastating. Marcus pulled her close, and Sophia let herself drown in it, in him, knowing she was destroying them both. Day 6. Sophia waited until Marcus was in the shower before opening his laptop. Her hands shook as she inserted the USB drive. She'd put this off for 5 days, finding excuses, telling herself she needed more time. But her father's messages were getting more insistent, more threatening. Have you found anything? Don't fail me, Sophia. Our family's survival depends on this. The files downloaded quickly. Marcus's acquisition plans. Financial records. And there, a folder labeled Father's Documents. Sophia clicked it open and immediately wished she hadn't. Her father's name was everywhere. Ricardo Castellano. Detailed notes about the hostile takeover 15 years ago. The lies Ricardo had spread. The evidence Marcus had been gathering to expose it all. And at the bottom, a scanned document. Thomas Chen's suicide note. I can't fight him anymore. Ricardo has taken everything. My company. My reputation. My will to keep going. I'm sorry. Marcus. I'm so sorry. Sophia's vision blurred with tears. Her father had done this. Had driven a good man to suicide and lied about it for 15 years. And now she was helping him do it again to that man's son. She ejected the USB drive with shaking hands. The shower was still running. Marcus was singing softly off-key, making her smile even through her tears. She loved him. The realization hit like a punch to the chest. She'd fallen in love with Marcus Chen, the man she'd been sent to destroy. The man whose father her father had killed. Sophia stood, decision crystallizing. She couldn't send these files. Couldn't be part of this anymore. She had to leave. Now. Before she destroyed him completely. She packed in 10 minutes, moving silently. Left the USB drive on the guest room desk. Evidence of her betrayal, but proof she hadn't completed it. And then she wrote the note. Tears falling on the paper. Some dreams are better left as dreams. I'm sorry. S. The penthouse elevator closed, taking her away from the best week of her life. Day 7. The last dinner. Marcus stood alone in his penthouse, staring at the empty guest room and the note in his hand. She was gone. Just like that. No explicación. No goodbye. He should be angry. Should be calling security, having them search for her. Instead he felt hollow. His phone buzzed. His security chief. Sir, you need to see something. That's when Marcus learned the truth about the woman he'd spent a week falling for. Now, standing in his office with the security footage frozen on Sophia's face, as she inserted that USB drive, Marcus felt cold rage settling in his bones. Sofia Castellano. Ricardo Castellano's daughter. The enemy's daughter had slept in his bed, kissed him on his balcony, made him believe in fairy tales again. And it had all been a lie. Her flight boards in 2 hours, his security chief said. If you're going to stop her. I'm not stopping her, Marcus said quietly. I'm going with her. He picked up the USB drive from where she'd left it on the guest room desk. Evidence of her betrayal, but also proof she hadn't completed it. JFK Airport, Terminal 4. Sophia sat at her gate, her hands empty and shaking. She'd left the drive behind. Couldn't bring herself to hand it to her father, but couldn't destroy the only proof of his crimes either. Her phone buzzed. Her father. Where are you? Where are the files? She didn't answer. Sophia. She froze. That voice. She knew that voice. Sophia turned slowly. Marcus stood 5 feet away, still wearing the suit from his office, his expression unreadable. How did I find you? Marcus moved closer, and Sophia resisted the urge to run. I own half the security companies in this city. Finding one woman with a distinctively beautiful face wasn't hard. Marcus, I can explain. Can you? His voice was cold, nothing like the warm man she'd spent a week with. Can you explain how Ricardo Castellano's daughter ended up in my penthouse? How you just happened to accept my offer? How you kissed me while stealing my files? Tears burned Sophia's eyes. It wasn't like that. Then tell me what it was like. Marcus stopped in front of her, so close she could see the hurt beneath his anger. Tell me the truth, Sophia. For once. My father sent me, she whispered. You were planning something against Castellano Industries. He wanted me to find out what. To stop you. And the week we spent together? Was supposed to be reconnaissance. Sophia met his eyes, letting him see her truth. But I fell in love with you instead. Marcus's jaw tightened. Love. That's what you call industrial espionage now. I didn't send the files. Sophia's voice broke. I copied them, yes. But I left the drive in your penthouse. I couldn't do it. Couldn't hurt you. So I ran. Marcus slowly pulled the USB drive from his pocket, held it up between them. I know. I found it. Sophia stared at the drive, then at him. Then you know I didn't betray you. Not completely. Why should I believe you? Because I'm still here. Sophia gestured at the gate behind her. I should be on that plane. Should be halfway across the ocean. But I'm sitting here hoping you'd come, hoping you'd give me a chance to explain. Your father killed mine, Marcus said flatly. Did you know that? Not legally, maybe. But every lie he spread, every deal he sabotaged, every reputation he destroyed, it all led to my father jumping from that building. I know. Sophia's tears fell freely now. I read his suicide note. I saw everything. And Marcus, I'm so sorry. My father is a monster, and I've spent my whole life making excuses for him. So this is what? Redemption. This is me choosing you over him. Over my family. Over everything I've ever known. She held out the drive again. Take it. Press charges. Destroy my father the way he destroyed yours. I won't stop you. Marcus took the drive, his fingers brushing hers. The contact felt electric, even now. There's something else you should know, he said quietly. I found another document. One my father kept hidden. He pulled out his phone, showed her a scanned image. Two young men, arms around each other's shoulders, grinning at the camera. One was clearly Marcus's father. The other, that's my father, Sophia whispered. They were friends. Best friends. Business partners. They built their first company together. Marcus's voice was rough. Before something went wrong. Before they became enemies. Sophia stared at the photo, then at Marcus. What are you saying? I'm saying our father's war destroyed them both. My father died. Yours became a monster. Marcus pocketed the phone. I'm saying I won't let history repeat itself. So what do we do? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. The gate agent announced boarding for Buenos Aires. Sophia's flight. Her escape. We start over, Marcus said finally. No lies. No secrets. No fake relationships. And my father? Let me worry about your father. Marcus held out his hand. Right now, I'm worried about you. About us. Sophia looked at his hand, then at the gate, then back at him. I don't deserve you. Probably not. Marcus smiled, and it was real, warm, the smile she'd fallen in love with. But then again, I did get into bed with a complete stranger. So my judgment is clearly questionable. Despite everything, Sophia laughed. She took his hand. One condition, she said. Name it. No more fake anything. If we do this, it's real. Marcus pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. It was always real, Sophia. From the moment I woke up next to you. They kissed there in the airport, with her flight boarding behind them, and an uncertain future ahead. But for the first time since this whole mess started, Sophia felt like she could breathe. We should go. Marcus murmured against her lips. Go where? Home. He smiled. You still have one more night in the penthouse. Our agreement was for a week. Marcus, that was before. Before I knew who you were? Before you tried to save me from yourself. He tucked her hair behind her ear. Stay. Help me figure out what to do with the evidence. Help me decide if we expose our father's history or bury it. And after? After we see if dreams can become reality. 3 months later. The press conference was Marcus's idea. Sophia stood backstage, watching him on the monitor as he addressed the media. Behind him, a screen displayed the photo of their fathers, young and hopeful, before everything went wrong. 15 years ago, my father died believing he'd been betrayed by his best friend, Marcus said. Ricardo Castellano believed the same about Thomas Chen. They destroyed each other over a misunderstanding, over pride, over business deals that don't matter anymore. He paused, looking directly at the camera. I've spent years planning revenge, building a case against Castellano Industries, ready to destroy them the way they destroyed my father. In the audience, Ricardo Castellano sat stiffly, his face pale. Sophia had convinced him to come, though he didn't know what Marcus planned to say. But then I met someone who changed everything. Marcus smiled slightly. She taught me that some legacies aren't worth inheriting, that revenge only creates more graves. He pulled out the USB drive, held it up. This contains enough evidence to dismantle Castellano Industries. Financial irregularities, corporate espionage, crimes stretching back decades. Marcus looked at Ricardo. I could destroy you with this. The room held its breath. Instead, I'm offering a choice. Marcus set down the drive. Work with me. Help me turn Chen Technologies and Castellano Industries into partners instead of enemies. Honor what our fathers once had, before pride destroyed them. He gestured backstage. Someone wise once told me that dreams can become reality if we're brave enough to choose them. Sophia walked onto the stage, her heart pounding. Her father's eyes widened in shock, in betrayal, in something that might have been understanding. Marcus took her hand. This is Sofia Castellano, he told the cameras. Daughter of Ricardo Castellano. The woman who was sent to spy on me and chose love instead. My partner in business and in life. The cameras flashed. The reporters shouted questions. Ricardo Castellano stood slowly, his face unreadable. For a long moment, he just looked at them. At his daughter holding the hand of his enemy's son. At the evidence of his crimes sitting on the podium. At the choice Marcus had offered. Partnership or destruction. Finally, Ricardo approached the microphone. I've made many mistakes, he said quietly. Lost my best friend to pride and fear. Spent 15 years living with that guilt. He looked at Sophia, and she saw tears in his eyes. But I won't lose my daughter too. He held out his hand to Marcus. Partners. Marcus shook it. The deal was struck. Chen Technologies and Castellano Industries merged 6 months later. Sophia became Chief Operations Officer, bridging the two companies. Marcus's mother and Ricardo had coffee once a week, sorting through old photos, healing old wounds. And in the penthouse where it all started, Marcus and Sophia built a real relationship. No lies. No secrets. No fake intimacy. Just two people who'd found each other in the most unlikely way and chose to rewrite their family's ending. On their first anniversary, Marcus woke to find Sophia still asleep beside him. Peaceful as the first morning he'd found her there. You know, he whispered, I never did cancel that hotel's mistake. Sophia opened one eye. What? Your original room. The one on the 12th floor. Marcus smiled. I've been paying for it this whole year. Just in case you ever want your own space. Sophia rolled over, pressing against him. I already have everything I need right here. Even though it started with a lie? It started with a mistake, she corrected. Everything after was our choice. Marcus kissed her, sunlight streaming through the windows of the penthouse where a hotel mix-up had changed both their lives. Some dreams, they'd learned, were better when they became real. Did Marcus make the right choice? Could you forgive someone who was sent to betray you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love this billionaire romance twist, smash that like button. Subscribe for more stories where love conquers revenge. And hit the notification bell so you never miss our next upload. Share this with someone who believes in second chances and impossible love stories. What story should we tell next? Vote in the poll above or comment your favorite romance trope. See you in the next story.